I'm Mike Uyek. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption. Howdy everybody! I don't know why I said it like that, but welcome to Recipe Redemption, and it's snack time again. Made another visit to my local Asian grocery store, picked out a few things that I haven't tried before. Thought I would try them out for you. First one being Hawthorne Candy. Now this, I just had Hawthorne on my trip to China last year. Kind of crab-apple-y. And unlike a lot of candies, these are actually made with the real fruit. So these are going to be more like, well, not really fruit leather, but kind of. Yeah. Now, I have to admit the Hawthorne wasn't my favorite thing. It looks kind of like, a rose hip. And tastes kind of like it too. It sort of has a mealy apple sort of texture and flavor to it, for that matter. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite thing. Now, I noticed these candies come wrapped in three little wafers per packet. So wasteful on the packaging, but it's nice for portion control, I guess. Tear into this. So they're kind of like, well, sort of like Necco wafers, but not really. I don't know if you can see the texture of that. It's sort of crystalline. You know, it sparkles. But yeah, it is kind of like if you just made fruit leather with Hawthorne. There's, again, like I said, short of that mealy apple flavor and texture, slightly floral, a little bit of berry. There's sort of a little bit of a strawberry jam flavor to it. Again, it's not horrible. It's not my favorite thing. But I'll eat it later. It's going to take me a while to get through that because it's not great.
Yum 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 yum.
Next one. It's definitely made in China, but for whatever reason, it's called Australia Vegetarian Steak. I'm willing to bet it's not going to look like that. I love the translation for the ingredients list here. Drawing protein. I'm not sure what that means, but includes ancient meal. I'm going to say, I don't know, amaranth. I don't know, some triticale type ancient grain, whatever. Ancient meal, low temperature edible soybean meal, edible soy protein, and starch. Okay, so sort of wheat-like and tofu meat. I don't know. Water, vegetable oil, sugar, salt, pepper, spice, etc., etc., and a bunch of additives. So it's a gluten protein product. Little tear things on the bottom. Weird. And once again, individually packaged for your snacking pleasure. So this is, it's like a large stick of gum size. This is going to look even less like the steak in the picture. at this size. But let's see what we get here. It's easy to tear. That's nice. Ooh. That definitely does not look like a steak. See if they bothered texturing. No. A little bit. I'm not sure how this was manufactured. They make it. It is quite spicy. There's a little bit of texture that sort of makes it kind of like meat, but not really. It is quite spicy. It's not bad. It's edible. It's not what I would call beefy in any way. So, calling it an Australian style steak, that's not even Outback. So, moving on.
Yum, 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 yum.
A Taiwanese product that really caught my eye. They're naughty quail eggs. I don't know what makes them naughty. They're quail eggs. They have sugar, fermented soy sauce, which is kind of redundant. Soy sauce is already fermented and brewed. Spice, cinnamon and Chinese pepper. That's interesting. Caramel color, red pepper. I notice quail eggs, and they're firm but squishy. Obviously they're no longer in the shell, but quail eggs are usually white. So these have been soaking in whatever, the soy sauce and spices, for a good long while. Let's see if I can get into this without making a mess. Okay, so I don't know, because honestly, they're coming out of the package, they look kind of like olives, like black olives, which is odd. I don't know. So because they were packed in together and vacuum sealed, they kind of squished together, and they actually form sort of facets where they met each other and squished together. So they're sort of rhomboid eggs, but the cinnamon's an interesting addition. It's not bad. I like quail eggs anyway. They're tasty. And I've had other eggs, usually duck eggs, that have been soaked in tea, in a strong broth of some sort to get the flavor. They do take on whatever flavors you soak them in if you do it long enough. So I've had soy sauce eggs before. It was a very familiar flavor, but the cinnamon is a really interesting addition. It's a fairly warm spice. It sort of takes you in a 5-spice direction, even though that's not in here. And it does say that there's Chinese red pepper in this. I don't know, at this point, I don't know if the heat that I'm feeling is actually residual from the Australia steak. That was really spicy. Or if this actually has any of its own spice that I'm just not feeling above the tingle that is still on my tongue from the steak. I may have tried these in the wrong order. So the white, what I would call the white, but now the black part, is very firm. It carries most of that flavor that got soaked in. The yolks are still somewhat creamy. They are starting to get onto the dry side, so I think these were hard boiled before soaking in the aforementioned soy sauce and cinnamon. But they're not bad. Save some of those for later.
Yum, 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 yum.
And finally, something that I know I'm going to like, because I had it probably about 30 years ago now. My mom brought some of this home, and I got majorly addicted to it. And it's beef jerky, but it's fruit flavored beef jerky. So in addition to the beef, part of the marinade that went into it before they dehydrated it was basically a fruit punch concentrate, along with pineapple juice, lemon juice, and in some, I haven't been able to find it. It's really expensive when it comes to beef jerky. Beef jerky is expensive as it is, but this stuff was like 35 bucks a pack. So probably on the order of about 70 bucks a pound. And it actually had bits of fruit in with the beef. This is more fruit flavored beef jerky, but it is shredded, if you can see that. And it sounds a little weird to put fruit punch in with your beef jerky, but trust me, this stuff is gold. You want the flavor to last a little longer, you chew it a little bit and then stick it in the side of your cheek like a plug of tobacco and just let it sit there until all the flavor's gone. That is as good as I remember. It's salty, of course, it's jerky. It's sweet, but the addition of the fruit flavors, prog powder, it's got MSG in it, of course, and soy gives it a very distinctly Southeast Asian flavor, kind of Hong Kong style beef jerky. This is seriously addictive stuff, which is why it's good that I only bought, what is this, 1.5 ounces, because I will be finishing this. There's the fruitiness and just the red, which I think I'm going to assume is just a dye. Yeah, FD&C red number 40. But the sweetness, the sort of the umami flavor from the meat as well as the soy marinade and everything, it sort of gives it sort of a char siu aspect to it. It's very definitely beefy. It is not pork like char siu is, but it kind of it gives you that hint of that flavor, that sort of essence to it. So it just distinguishes it from other beef jerkies. I love this stuff. So, what other things should I try? Are there any snacks that you have been reminiscing about that you think I should try on this channel? Please let me know below. Give me some suggestions, and I'll see if I can get a hold of some and try it out for. Incredible stuff. So, until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching. And I will see you here right here on Recipe Redemption. Bye now.